You wake up tomorrow to an alarm. You check a screen before your feet even touch the floor. You spend 8 hours doing something someone else decided was valuable enough to pay you for. And somewhere in there, you tell yourself this is just what being an adult means. It isn't. It never was. Not for most of human history. 12,000 years ago, the last truly free generation of humans woke up, looked at the sky, and asked themselves one question. What do I actually want to do today? For them, that wasn't a luxury. It was every single morning. You spend roughly 90,000 hours of your life working. That's a third of your waking existence handed over to a job, a schedule, a boss, a career ladder you didn't design and mostly didn't choose. You wake up already tired. You measure your worth by output, by promotions, by how productive your day was. If you rest without earning it first, some part of you feels guilty, like you're getting away with something. And when you finally retire, or take a vacation, or get a rare free Sunday, you don't even know what to do with unstructured time anymore. You've forgotten how. Here's what almost nobody tells you. Your ancestors worked less than you do, and they weren't scraping by. In 1963, archaeologist Richard Lee studied the hoansi people of Botswana and found that adults spent about 15 to 20 hours a week acquiring food. The rest of the time was theirs, completely. No supervisor, no clock, no guilt attached. This wasn't a fluke of one lucky tribe. The same pattern shows up in the Hadza of Tanzania, the Ashe of Paraguay, the Martu of Australia. Different continents, different climates, the same 15 to 20 hour week. And the skeletons back it up. Compare the bones of early farmers to the hunter-gatherers who came before them. Farmers were shorter, had worse teeth, more arthritis, and died younger. Agriculture didn't make life easier. It made us work harder, for less. The insight is this. Scarcity didn't force humans into constant labor. Agriculture did. Somewhere around 10,000 years ago, we traded a short work week for permanent obligation, and we've simply never traded back. You can't uninvent agriculture, and you probably don't want to hunt your own dinner, but there are 3 shifts taken directly from how that last free generation actually lived that you can bring back into your own days. Step 1. Stop thinking of rest as something you have to earn. For Lee's hoansi tribe, free time isn't a reward for completing tasks. It's simply part of the daily routine once basic survival needs are met. If you only allow yourself to rest after you've earned it, you'll never truly rest because there's always one more task to do. Try scheduling rest time the same way you schedule work, as a fixed, non-negotiable part of the day, not just whatever time is left over. Shift 2. Making things by hand, without any productive purpose. Anthropologist James Sussman documented that hunter-gatherers spent hours weaving baskets, carving tools, and making jewelry from shells. Not for profit, but because making things well was part of being human. 30,000-year-old cave paintings in Chauvet Cave and 100,000-year-old shell beads from Blombos Cave exist for the same reason. Not survival, but simply to give meaning. Choose an activity you can do with your hands that has 0 career value, and do it anyway. Step 3. Set aside time for unscheduled socializing. Sussman also found that the hoansi spend about 6 hours a day on pure socializing, chatting, laughing, and resting together without any agenda. Not to network, not just a quick chat between calendar appointments. It's simply about getting together with others. set aside specific time for this, just as you would for a meeting, because without a specific time allocation, that time will just slip away. Picture a hoansi man on an ordinary Tuesday, 12,000 years ago in spirit, if not in exact date. He wakes at dawn. The fire from the night before is still warm. Someone adds wood. Breakfast is leftover meat and a few berries, eaten slowly, while people talk and loosely plan the day. Not because they have to, but because that's what mornings are for. By mid-morning, maybe he joins a small hunting group. Maybe he doesn't, because 2 days ago's hunt is still feeding the camp. If he stays, he spends the morning sharpening a spear or weaving a basket, competent work with no deadline attached. By early afternoon, the productive part of his day is essentially over. What follows is hours of rest, grooming, talking, napping, making jewelry from shells. As the sun sets, the character of conversation
and then,
shifts
out of nowhere,
entirely.
it appeared.
Now it's
It was the
stories,
biggest fish I had ever seen.
jokes that make the whole camp laugh.
Now picture you on an ordinary Tuesday. You wake up already behind. You eat breakfast, if at all, in front of a screen. You work 8+ hours, often more once you count the emails after dinner. By the time anything resembles unstructured social time, you're too tired to enjoy it, and you go to bed already dreading the alarm. Same species, 12,000 years apart. One of those Tuesdays had 6 hours of real rest and connection built in by default. The other one has to fight for scraps of it.
So, if you've ever felt guilty for resting, or forgotten how to enjoy unstructured time, here's the truth nobody tells you at your job. You're not lazy, and you're not broken. You're a human being running an operating system built for 15-hour work weeks, forced to run a script written by agriculture and then rewritten by factories. We traded a short week of real freedom for 90,000 hours of a lifetime spent working. And most of us never even noticed the trade was made without our consent. If this made you rethink what productive actually means, tell me in the comments, what's one thing you'd do with your time if you had a hoansi work week instead of yours? And if you want more of the human history hiding behind your everyday life, subscribe. There's a lot more we traded away without knowing it.